Thank you. As mayor, I see the first position to be the administrator of the city, and that's absolutely paramount. We need to provide a little more direction to the departments so that things like snow removal get done properly in the downtown area, and that instead of ignoring storm sewers, for example, that have been tragically ignored for years and years, that sort of infrastructure gets done. We've had a lot of failure to take care of infrastructure, and we've made a lot of budgetary excuses, but that's because we keep adding positions, like 10 last year, that we don't necessarily need all across the board. In fact, we had about 450 positions 50 years ago. Right now, we've got about 540. That's an increase of 20% and a population increase of 4%. Maybe we ought to be considering how fast the city is growing and start being a whole lot more efficient. And that's one of the examples of what has to be done by the mayor's office. The other thing is we need to delegate much more of the budgetary process to the city council. Most of the time the budget is handed to the planning commission by the mayor. It's rubber stamped by them with minor changes, goes through the F&P committee, and then they say, here it is, vote it up or vote it down. And that's why I vote against it just about every time, because it doesn't take care of the citizens of La Crosse. It doesn't do what the city is supposed to do. We have a function to take care of things that people can't do as individuals, and we've ignored that.
Thank you. The mayor's role would be the top communicator, the leader of our city. I would always have an open door policy. I would always return phone calls. Any communication with the neighborhoods, I think, is so very important. The role as the mayor, the CEO of the company, as City Hall would be, is responsible for all spending. The mayor's current $68 million budget that the council did approve, but we didn't have a whole lot of time. We spent far more time on the ambulance issue than we did going over our $68 million budget. And the mayor's role should be focusing on spending that we are doing.
Actually, I'm waiting for the lightning bolt. Dorothy and I agree on one thing here. The mayor's number one job is to be the number one ambassador to the city of La Crosse. I think if you come across friendly, if people know you're willing to work with them, I think if the people are happy. The mayor has to go out to, which should be out talking to all the young adults at the university, keeping them feeling like they're part of the Crosse here, making them feel welcome. You have to go out and reach out to the businesses, get them to come here. There's just a lot of different things I would do. Obviously, I like to have lunch. If I'm walking out for lunch one day and there's a young gal or a older man coming in to pay taxes, I'm going to talk to them and ask them, are they visitors? Do they live here? Take them out for lunch. You know, if there's a scheduled 10% pay raise, you might as well spend it on some of the people that are helping paying for it. You know, and talk to people and find out what's going on. And that's, if La Crosse will sell itself. I mean, we have three great universities, 2 great hospitals. We have the bus, we have the river. La Crosse will sell itself. We just have to make sure that people understand that we have somebody in that office that's going to help sell it.
The government in La Crosse is the toughest sell about La Crosse. I sell real estate for a living, and it truly is. When people come from out of state and they say, geez, I'd like to buy this place, what are the taxes? And you say $1,500, you say $3,000. They say, can we look at something in Minnesota? And the same property across the river is left. And I understand that it's the exact same dollars because we live on the same latitude. We get the same snowfalls, we get the same rain, and it costs the same to provide the services. But it doesn't look the same on paper. You can buy more of a product because the taxes are less. And I agree, we need to have a friendly city hall. And I'm the guy to do that. I like people, I love the area. It's a beautiful area. And I think, you know, we can get downtown filled up again if we work together and be friendly about it and truly freeze our taxes. That has to stop. The growth in government has to stop, and the city of La Crosse does sell itself. Where do I take people when they come to town? Grandad Bluff, Riverside Park, to the jewels of La Crosse.
The
mayor should be everything that every one of these candidates has said so far. The mayor should be an ambassador. The mayor should represent the city. The mayor should lead by example. Beyond anything else, the mayor should be a servant. As the head of the city, the mayor should be the greatest servant of all. The mayor should show the people that everything, no matter what they're doing. When I started delivering papers at age 6, I picked up jobs that no matter whether anybody here is a teacher, whether I was throwing garbage on the back of a garbage truck at age 18, I always knew that what I was doing was serving people, no matter what we're doing. And as the head, I think the mayor should be the greatest servant of all and show people that no matter what they are doing, we're all here to serve. And that's what you should be showing people that they need to do as well. Work with each other and make our city prosper.
Well, by state statute, the mayor is the chief executive officer of the city of La Crosse. We have a $68 million budget. There's 550 full-time employees, 1,400 employees when you figure in the part-time individuals. The mayor also has a lot of responsibility. You have to have very broad shoulders as mayor because there's a lot of criticism sometimes directed at the mayor when the mayor really doesn't have any control over some of the things that occur within the community. So you have to be a visionary. You have to be able to lead by example. And certainly I think that if you look at the city of La Crosse, you can either be Chicken Little or the little engine that could. And I think that as mayor, I've tried to be the little engine that could and say I think I can, because I think that it's important for the overall well-being of the city of La Crosse. We've got a beautiful community. We've got an awful lot to be thankful for. We've got a great educational system. We've got great scenic beauty. We've got wonderful recreation within our community. We've got jobs that are being provided. We certainly have business growth and development. We're seeing positive change within the community. For those people who say that we should lead by everything by committee, I say that if you're on the Titanic, you want to set up a committee, or do you want a person who's going to lead you in the future to determine what the outcome is going to be?
Thank you. This will be our last question before we go into closing statements, and because of the time, we're going to ask for 1-minute responses.
One of the major sources of revenue for the city of La Crosse is the state shared revenue formula. And some people don't believe it's very fair. Does it need to be changed, and if so, how?
That's an extremely interesting question. I think probably one of the problems we have with shared revenue is I think it should be changed. I really think that what we do is we give money to the state via our income taxes and via our sales taxes and various other taxes that the state collects, and they send it back to us with strings attached and after charging us an administrative fee to manage it. And that's not a very efficient way to do things, so I think probably that's something that the state just ought to get out of that business primarily. But I don't expect that I would be able to change that very well.
I will agree as well. We definitely need to address the shared revenue problems that it does address. We need to work with the state of Wisconsin and try to convince them that we need to have help in our city. We are 45% tax exempt properties, and that is hurting the community. Their high taxes are definitely affecting us.
Yeah, that would be something at the mayor's conference when they have it in the state. You'd have to address it with the governor and see what help they can do for us. And as far as the non-taxables, first thing I would do as mayor is we'd have to come up with some way of charging them service fees. They have the roads plowed, they have police and fire protection. We just can't keep paying an unfair load.
I agree that we don't get back what we're supposed to. I think we send in 100% and we get back 80. So we lost 20% of our own money just by saying, here you go, thank you. And so I don't believe it'd be something that you do at the governor's level. I think that'd be something we'd get a hold of Mike Hipsch, hold him down, twist his arm a little bit, get it started at the governmental level where it would be introduced through legislation rather than having Governor Jim Doyle decide who's going to give us our money back because he's not doing a very good job so far.